Hey guys, what's going on and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be doing a deck tech on mono white aggro. Now this is one of the decks which I've been having a lot of fun with in standard at the moment. It's got quite a high win rate for me, I think between 70 and 80%. I'm not sure. However, there's a very limited pool of games that I've played. So that is quite subject to change. Before I get into explaining the deck, please can I ask you guys to subscribe to the channel. It doesn't take much effort, but it means a massive amount to me. If you have, thanks ever so much. Alright, so now let's get into explaining this deck. Now, this is a really fun deck. So what you do is you have these two, it's basically an aggro deck. So you've got cards such as Luminarch Aspirant, Seasoned Hallowblade, which are the main two drops, well, the only two drops in the deck, which kind of help buff up your attackers. Well, Luminarch Aspirant anyway. So the main point of Seasoned Hallowblade is to swing in. You can discard it to give it indestructible, and it's a 2-mana free one. It's just a powerhouse of a card. Now, alongside this, you have cards such as Maul of the Skyclaves, and also the artifact side of Helvar, or Sword of the Realms. Now, these you could equip to Seasoned Hallowblade to make it a bigger attacker, and you can also equip it to other creatures as well, such as the Usher of the Fallen, and so on. Okay, so now we have our Alsaids and Selfless Saviours. Now, these cards are there to protect the creature you're buffing up, or the creatures, sorry. So these are just there to protect it from removal spells, make profitable blocks, and so on. Now, the Giant Killer is a 1-mana 1/2, which is good enough, especially with the ability of 2 mana to tap target creature. However, the additional side to it of 3 mana to destroy target creature with power 4 or greater is amazing. Because it just gives extra utility to a card which is already really good. We've got Sentinel's Eyes, which gives creatures vigilance. Now we can equip this to our creature which we're trying to buff up, and then what that also does is it not only makes it a good attacker, but it also means that we can then use it as a blocker. So normally if you swing out, you'd be open to retaliation of your opponent swinging back at you. However, with Sentinel's Eyes, what you can do is you swing in, and because it has vigilance, you can then block the attacking creatures. Now, Usher of the Fallen, I think I should go over a little bit. Now, there's this new mechanic in Kaldheim called Boast, and that is, when you attack with it, you can use the Boast ability once. Now, the ability on this card is that you pay 2 mana and create a 1/1 white human warrior creature token. So, say you play this on turn 1, and then turn 2 you don't have one of our powerhouse 2 drops to follow it up. What you can do is you can swing in and create a 1/1. Now, usually quite early into the game, they won't have a profitable block for this, and usually you'll come out of a trade on top. However, this is obviously subject to change. If he has, say, a Fervent Champion to block it, obviously don't go swinging in there, because that's just a stupid play. Okay, then we've got 4 copies of Skyclave Apparition. Now, Skyclave Apparition is really good to remove their creatures. 3 mana 2/2, also a good body. Just a really nice card, and especially with the exile effect, it works very well against Croxes and the like. Just against all decks, Skyclave Apparition is amazing. And also, what it is it's not only creatures which you can get rid of. If you've got some pesky artifacts or enchantments that you don't like, you could use Skyclave Apparition to get rid of them. Then we've got Helvar, God of Battle. So, creatures that you control that are enchanted or equipped have double strike. Now, first of all, as a 4-mana 4/4, it's a really good blocker, really good card. It's just solid. Now, if you look at his abilities, creatures you control that are enchanted or equipped have double strike. Now, we can see that we've got Sentinel's Eyes, Maul of the Skyclaves, and also if you play the other side of Helvar before this, Sword of the Realms, then you've got plenty of ways to equip creatures. Now, you may be looking at it as at the beginning of its second ability, as at the beginning of each combat, you may attach target aura or equipment attached to a creature you control to target creature you control. You may be thinking that's not that powerful. Now, the way that I've found that this works particularly well is at the beginning of combat on your opponent's turn. So that means that you can swing in with an equipped creature, and sometimes it'd be tapped, but then at the start of combat on their turn, you can switch that equipment over to another creature and make another good double striking blocker. We've also got Legion Angel. which is a powerhouse in nearly all mono white type decks at the moment. And this is basically because you have it as a one-of, but then that one-of gives you access to all 3 copies of it within the sideboard. Okay, and then as lands we've got Cast Lardevel, Snow Covered Plains and Faceless Haven. Now this Faceless Haven has been absolutely insane for me. A lot of the games I win, I wouldn't be able to win without this land. It's a massive attacker, and it just helps you to go a little bit wider than what you would normally be able to do. Okay, so now let's have a look at our sideboard. So Giant Killer, we want to play against creature decks which are going to have power 4 or greater, or just decks where we want to tap them down. So say Mono Red Aggro is a good example, and also Dimir Rogues. You've got a Death Touching creature which you want to tap down, and also just a 2/3 blocker which could be quite annoying. Soul Guide Lantern we use against Rakdos, and other decks which use the graveyard. I'm not sure if they're a melee at the moment. Maybe you'd want to play against Mono Green Food, although that deck's not actually that good, so I would advise against it. Then we have Drive Magistrate. The new mechanic that was released with Kaldheim was Foretell. Now what that means is you pay 2 mana to exile it, not exile it, but exile it face down, and then at any point, if it's an instant, or on your turn if it's a sorcery, play however much mana the Foretell cost is to cast it, and that's a spell from outside the game. Now, what the main ones in this format at the moment is Saw It Coming, Behold the Multiverse, Doomscar. So against any kind of, I would say, blue decks. So you've got your red-blue spells, maybe red-white, maybe blue-white control, but that's not so common. But any decks which are using Foretell cards quite prevalently, I would use Drive Magistrate. Now, the other nice thing with this is it's also very good against graveyard decks that cast spells from a graveyard, such as Croaxer or Woestrider. However, I would board less copies of Drive Magistrate in against Rakdos than I would against red-blue spells. Okay, then we've got Glass Casket, good against mono white aggro, mono red aggro, Grawl aggro, Naya Adventures, Rogues. It's a powerhouse against a majority of good decks in the format, just not your kind of control-y decks. Then we have a copy of Redain, God of the Worthy. Now this I find really good against Boros aggro with Showdown of the Scolds, because when you play this turn 3, it means that it's up until turn 6 when they can play their Showdown. Also, against Golgari decks which play Bringer of the Old Gods, something like that, which is the 4 mana Saga, also really good in that deck. And then of course we have our 3 copies of Legion Angel. Alright, now with that being said, let's get into the games. Okay, so we're on the play in this game. Let's keep, we'll go Alseid of Life's Bounty into Luminarch Aspirant. Play against Nimrod. I have a feeling I played against this guy yesterday, in fact. He's playing mono red, I think. I think he's changed his deck now. How weird. Okay. I'm not sure what our play will be next turn. It's quite likely he's got Heartless Act. That's the card. It's just not what you want to see, is it? We just need a land, and he's probably got that Binding of the Old Gods or whatever. Alright, let's be positive. Next turn we're going to hit our land, we're going to play Redain, and he's not going to be able to play his Binding of the Old Gods. Valky, he's going to take our Redain. Actually, is it Redain that he takes? Yeah, he takes our Redain, so we will not be doing that play. Which makes me think that he's got his 4 mana card for next turn. And we just don't draw a land. Play this. It's really frustrating because, yeah, There's just nothing we can do here to get mana screwed. He's going to hit his land here, play the card. There's just nothing we could do. He missed his land drop too. Or he doesn't have a binding, which is positive. Honestly. Okay. Just keep swinging in with Alsaid. I don't think it's worth playing Usher there. So it's John's sacrifice that we're playing against, I think. Although he's got the Zago of Triome, so it makes me think that he's got some blue in the deck at least. So 4 colour minus white. What a perfect hand. What can you do? What can you do? And he's going to kill our Usher. Kills it and plays the Bone Crusher Giant. Oh. Give us a... Okay, so what cards do we want? Glass Casket? I'm not even sure about that. Let's just run it back. See what happens. Yeah, see what goes on there. Alright. This guy's going back. See, I was just thinking last game, like, I was thinking in my head, does he have a Shadows, like, and I was like, no, surely not. Like, surely he can't play that. Turns out he does. Interesting play between Seasoned Hallowblade and Luminarch Aspirant turn 2. I think I'm going to go for Luminarch Aspirant. Actually, Seasoned Hallowblade might just... No, because he'll steal it with a Valky, so... I love people just hating a deck so much that they actively play against it. Blood Cheese first. Then we've got probably a Heartless Act coming right up, or a Bone Crusher Giant. Maze Mind Tome. Okay, I'm fine with him playing that. Play Redain. If he plays a snow, if he has any Snowlands in his deck, it'll come in tapped. I'm not sure that he does, but considering this is a basic land, if he has to play his board wipe on turn 7, it avoids Bone Crusher Giant. Not so much Heartless Act, which he probably has, but yeah, there's a Heartless Act. It's fine. It's to be expected there. What do I play next turn? I think I'm going to go for Luminarch Aspirant plus... It's a difficult one, because do I just want this as a... I don't think so. I'm going to play it like that. Then I'm going to buff up the Seasoned Hallowblade. Or do you play around Heartless Act? I'm going to play around Heartless Act. I have a feeling he's got a second one, just for the way he's playing. Okay, and then next turn what we'll do is we'll make Faceless Haven a creature and just swing in for what? 10? I'll take it. Just start chunking in, getting the damage. Yeah. If he's got Heartless Act, he could kill my Faceless Haven. Binding of the Old Gods. It's fair enough. He didn't hit it game 1, so So I kind of misplayed there by not putting a 1/1 counter on a Seasoned Hallowed Blade, but I'm not too unhappy about it. I will just swing in with a Faceless Haven. It hits him for 7, puts him onto a 2-turn clock. Not with a Maze Mind Tome, but that's fine. It's possible that the correct play there would have been to exile the Maze Mind Tome with our Skyclave Apparition. Maybe even Binding of the Old Gods, stop him ramping. It's a difficult, yeah, it's a difficult decision to make. Selfless Saviour. The Maul of a Skyclave onto Seasoned Hallowed Blade here. Swinging for 5 in the air. Gets above Crawling Barrens. Next turn it'll be 7 in the air. Got a card in hand. Do it like this so we can get the attack in. Alright, mate. I mean, I've just got to keep this alive here. This is such a threat for him here. Creatures he controls gain Death Touch until end of turn. And also, in doing that, he used 4 of his removal spells. He really hates that card. Okay. Let's play Usher. Put the Sword of the Realms onto it so that if it gets killed, just goes straight back to my hand. Hopefully he's run out of removal for my stuff. He's already had 6 of these spells. Hopefully there just isn't. He's kind of playing removal tribal. Okay. Okay, we can play Maul of the Skyclaves like this. And then what this means is, because we've got an extra 1 mana, is if he kills... if he kills it, we would be able to play it again. But he's got to be able to kill this somehow. I think the only way he's got is to make Crawling Barrens, if he doesn't have removal, of course, is if he makes... What is this? We could swing in for 4 here. But I think we've just got to protect our Usher here. Okay, he's got to draw another removal. Knowing how this guy's played this turn, he would get another one. He didn't. Alright, so it's 1-1 now. We fought through the tons of removal that this guy had. Okay. Let's get this going. Game numero dos. Okay. Let's see where this goes. Alright, so we're on a play for the first time in this too. Ooh, nice hand. I've got a solid 1-drop, 2-drop. We could just put pressure on. If he plays Maze Mind Tome, we could get rid of it with Skyclave Apparition. Just a solid hand. Alright, let's be positive. If this is something. Okay, Maze Mind Home as well. So we can actually just start going in and getting some damage. Okay. I didn't really want to use the boast ability on Usher. It's better to play the 3-1 instead of get a 1-1, obviously. Okay. Then what we can do... Okay, so he's having to hold... Okay. So we can scry to a turn. I think we play Maul of the Skyclaves. Yeah, let's go for Maul of the Skyclaves onto our Seasoned Hallowblade. Just it gives us the ability to be able to protect it. It might be clever actually to play Faceless Haven that turn instead of Snow Covered Mountains, so that we could have the 4/3 attacker next turn. That might actually make a massive difference. We would have had lethal next turn. We'll have to see what happens with that. No, he's got a removal spell. It wouldn't be. Okay. That sucks. Okay, it does mean that we can resolve Redain though, so not all too bad. Means that he can't go for something like a Binding of the Old Gods or Shadow's Verdict. I think this guy might be on the ropes, especially from how he's just scrying to the bottom. He gains 4 life this turn, but drawing himself a card, trying to get one of his countless removal spells. So he's only used 1, so it's quite likely that he's got 1, maybe 2 removal spells in hand. Okay. Playing out our Skyclave apparition actually gives them the ability to have a blocker. Okay, so we can't actually do that play now, but it's fine. Stick Maul onto the Usher. I think that's a better play here than playing out our Luminarch Aspirant. Just gets us to certify some damage. Next turn he will be able to play Binding, but we will also be able to play Faceless Haven, well, attack with Faceless Haven and play our Luminarch Aspirant, so I'm not sure we're in such a bad shape here. If he's got nothing, we win. 6 mana, so is that a Binding? It is indeed. Okay, he scries. So, yeah. Let's make Faceless Haven. Hopefully we've done the right one. Play our Luminarch Aspirant. We will buff up our Redain and swing through like this. He'll have to block the land with a Valkyrie, giving us a 2/2 back, and yeah, we win the game. Alright, so let's get into the next game. Okay, into the second game we go then, against another Yorion deck. 1 land. It's not really doing it for us. Okay, we're going to bottom Legion Angel. Usher into Luminarch Aspirant into Maul of Skyclaves is just too powerful. Even though that is the only Legion Angel in our deck. So we're discounting getting one of those for the rest of the game, pretty much. Okay. Let's go Luminarch Aspirant. I think Luminarch Aspirant here is better than making a 1/1 for from our Usher. See what he plays here. So Sultai. I'm going to play this a little bit differently here. I'm not going to play Maul of a Skyclaves because I want to play around. I want to play around him doing some destruction spell in response to our Maul. So I think playing these two out, just playing a safe turn, is better here. I think this is the best play to make in order to maximise our chances of winning here. See what happens with it. He's got 4 mana this turn, so he could do a Bringing of the Old Gods or Binding of the Old Gods. I still don't quite know the name of it. Next turn we're swinging in for 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. So, okay. Ooh, okay, well we're going to have to play this. Let's stick this on a human warrior. Let's just kind of broaden our threats. Stick this here. He might have that card next turn, which is exile all 5. Well, if he blocks Alseid here, he's got to deal with all 3 of them next turn, which I think is quite unlikely. Yeah. This is just a very poor position from him here. We won't sacrifice the Alseid to give anything protection because we get the 1 life from it. It's probably not going to be that relevant, but to play optimally, that's what you've got to do. Alright, so we get the win first game there. Now, let's think about what we want to do. We want to add in Redain because they play a lot of 4+ mana non-creature spells, such as Binding of the Old Gods. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it anyway. Anything else that they play? Do they play many creatures with power 4 or greater? Well, I'm not quite sure about this Sultai Ultimatum list. I'm pretty sure it's Sultai Ultimatum. I don't think I've got enough knowledge to be able to take out a Giant Killer in this matchup. I can't take out Skyclave because it's good against Binding. Giant Killer is good against Yorion. It's a very, very difficult final cut here to make. I'm going to take out a Skyclave. I think that's the best option. Skyclave is normally better against aggressive, lower to the ground decks, whereas the stuff I'm going to be getting rid of with it here, there's not going to be much value to it. Okay, this is a really nice hand. We could play Usher here, and turn 2 we'll go for we'll make a 1/1 with it if we can, of course. Okay, seems like we're not going to be able to do that. He would have just killed it in response to the Alseid, so I don't think that's that much of a misplay there. Next turn we'll play Face the Taven in case we want to go for just making it into a 4/3 land instead of playing a Helvar turn whatever. Play Luminarch Aspirant here. And I think we're also going to buff Luminarch Aspirant. If we start buffing the Alseid, it's quite likely he'll just destroy it. Because I think this is Shark Typhoon which he's got in his hand rather than an individual removal. Okay, it's Omen of the Sea. Same thing, different. Next turn I could go for Helvar. Give the Alseid double strike. Although I'm not quite sure I want to do that. I'm erring on the side of I want to make a 4/3 land. Not quite sure yet. I'll have to go off what he does here. So foretell. Okay, 2 foretells. Oh, I mean, wait. Is any of the foretell cards 4 mana or greater? I'm not sure, but all I know is that if I play Helvar here, could put. Yeah, I'll swap the Sentinel's Eyes from the Alseid to the Alseid. Now all he's got to do is remove the Alseid. He's got to kind of remove Helvar because I could just play Sentinel's Eyes. Extinction Event with even that's a nice card. Yeah, I can't deny that. If I play Faceless Haven and swing in, I hit him for 7, which means he's got to deal with both creatures next turn. And I'm not sure that there's a way to do that. Oh, I should have played Redain. Although, if I draw a land, I could play Faceless Haven. Wait, does he have 2 in an 80 card deck? Did he draw it twice? Oh, what is that? That is some next level rubbish. The fact he drew 2 copies of it. Oh. I mean, if I draw a land, I can still make the Faceless Haven and turn it into and give it protection from blue. Wait, if he plays that, okay, so he's not playing out here, so it's quite likely that he's got a spell. Oh, I turned the wrong one. That's frustrating. Wait, what other spell does he have? That is frustrating that I turned the wrong Faceless Haven. I could have had a lethal line if this spell that he's got isn't removed. He probably would have removed the Alseid actually, so okay. Wait, what card could he have? He might have had a counter spell or something. Okay, well we can still do the combo of giving the Faceless Haven protection from blue. Okay, it skipped quickly then, so that means that he doesn't have a removal spell. We could be onto something here. We could be about to get the win. Alright, come on then. Come on then. Let's be having you. Okay. Oh. See. Screw it. Yeah. Does he have removal? That guy tapping for black and blue there to get my heart pounding a bit. Alright. We get the win. So that's 2 on the trot now. Thank you guys ever so much for watching. And yeah, have a great rest of the day. Goodbye.